downtown this evening when I heard music echo through the night. So I started running so I wouldn't be too late. In the neon light, let the music go reveal through the night.
Welcome everyone to Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Reardon and I'll be your mindset coach today. And today we're going to be talking about how to get rid of procrastination. Now, procrastination is one of those things that I get asked probably every day of my coaching career. Clients will come to me and they say, Mike, how do I stop procrastinating in this area? Or how do I stop procrastinating in general? And the answer is always we have to take control of our schedule, where we have to say, okay, how can we make our day as productive as possible? And then the next step is we have to understand, well, what are going to be the distractions that are keeping us from being active? Because the art of procrastination is going to be that we don't want to do something, whether it's because we don't know how to do it, it's too much work. So if we give ourselves a schedule and we say, well, this has to be done, it has to be done. So we're going to be diving into that blog today on today's episode. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, to follow, and to share this audio and or video with other people to help build a community of like-minded people that are trying to get to a better and more desired place in life. So let's get into that blog on how to get rid of procrastination. All right, so as always, we're going to head over to relevantconcepts.com, and then we're going to go over to resources tab, and then we're going to find blogs, and our most recent blog is going to be how to eliminate procrastination. Now, procrastination is going to be one of those things that sometimes people don't think is a real thing. If you're procrastinating, that means you don't love what you do, or you should just be doing something different because you won't be wasting time on things you enjoy, right? Well, not necessarily, because we might like going on dates, but then there'll be a day where we don't want to go on that date. Well, why? Why don't we want to go out and get some good food, some good eating? It's because there's something else that has our mind. Our mind is so fickle in the sense of, are we doing something that it wants right now? So that means if I'm going to do something that maybe I enjoyed at one point in my life, but now I have something else that is actually higher on the scale of what my mind favors, I'm going to want that more so than the things I wanted previously. Now, this happens sometimes in parenting when you might have a parent say, well, you like pizza, right? And the kid's like, I don't like pizza anymore. And it's because they found something else that they might enjoy more than pizza. And we have to have that conversation to stay relevant with what they are experiencing, because you got to understand, kids are trying everything for the first time. So when you give them hot dogs or butter noodles, they're like, this is the best thing ever. But then when you give them something else, they're like, I don't really want to try something different, because guess what? They already found out what they liked. But as we grow up, our taste buds evolve. Then we try new things and we say, wow, this is really good. And we learn to enjoy that type of food, that type of quality. But it happens to those teens, those children, unconsciously, where they don't even realize that, oh, I'm experiencing these different foods and I'm enjoying these different foods. My taste bud is changing. So yes, with time, things change. And I say that and I give that example because in procrastination, something happens along the same lines. So we are going to look at the blog, and the blog goes in order, of course, that we might like something or we might not like something. And we replace that like or that not like with empty space, procrastination, right? So we might like going on a date, like I said, but we might procrastinate because we might have got a new video game at the house and we want to play the video game rather than going on that date. Or we might have got a new puppy and we want to be with that puppy and we don't want to go on the date because we don't want to leave the dog alone. So there's a motive inside of our mindset that keeps us in a state of, well, I don't want to do this. So we put off getting ready to go on the date. We put off ironing our clothes, washing laundry, buying flowers, picking the restaurant, getting a reservation. We procrastinate because there's something else that we would rather do. Now, when we say we would rather do something different, it doesn't mean that what we're procrastinating on is not important. For example, if you have a job and you have to figure out, how am I going to get my work done, but I don't love my work, so we procrastinate and we wait until Friday until it's due, and we rush and we get it done. Because here in the blog, the idea of procrastination is going to be that we are putting off something until the fear of not doing the task is actually greater than doing the task that you were given. So this definition right here is going to be what we're going to be breaking down in today's episode. Because yes, this blog goes into depth and gives so many examples of procrastination and how to fix it, but we're going to be talking about the idea of putting off something because we don't want to do it, and then the idea of using fear to get the things done in our mind. And we're going to talk about the good and the bad, the pros and the cons. I speak about that there's some coaches who don't believe in procrastination, whether it be a life coach, mindset coach, whoever type of coach, they don't believe in procrastination. Well, we have to define our inaction as some way. Yeah, well, I guess we can be called lazy too. Procrastination is us being lazy, right? Maybe, right? Because we might not be procrastinating for a reason. We might not be in the mental state to do a certain task. For example, let's say you have an assignment due for work or for school, and you had a trauma in your life. A family member passed away. Dog passed away, right? Family. You're not going to be in the proper mindset to do that work, right? You're worried about, okay, I just lost this person. How am I going to navigate my life? There's so much more in your mind or that you're thinking about that is not the work, right? Priorities. What is more important? And most of the time, we are going to give ourselves non-important tasks or non-traumas or non-challenges. We are going to give it a lesser value. So it's not important. So for example, yes, I understand that this work project is due on Friday, but it's not important yet. And that's the key. It's not important yet. So when is it important? Well, it's important when I know it's going to take me 2 days in order to get this project done. So if it's due on Friday, it's going to take me 2 days to get it done. I'm going to need either Thursday and all Friday, but if it's due Friday morning, I might have to start on Wednesday and then get it done for Friday morning. So my Wednesday and my Thursday is going to be packed because I decided to procrastinate and not work on Monday and Tuesday. And of course, we might do little things on Monday and Tuesday that help us with Wednesday and Thursday. For example, if we have to do a certain amount of research, sometimes when I'm doing my blogs, I have to do a certain amount of research, and that research cuts into my writing. So I might say, well, I can't write my blog today because I have to do this much research. So I do all this research, and then once I compile enough research and data, then I say, you know what? Now I can write my blog because now I finally did everything. Well, the problem with that is that it's a contingency, and though it might be a necessary contingency, it's me saying I can't write my blog until this is done. Now, it could be a series of steps too, right? How do you ride a bike? Well, first thing you have to get on. You just don't say, well, pedal the wheels. Yeah, sure. Pedaling the wheels with your hands, your feet. Like, how descriptive do we have to be in order to give proper information? And our brain needs that. We need to tell our brain what needs to happen. And we can do that by the hour. We can do that by the day. So if we say instead of, well, I need to get my blog written, and we say, okay, I got to do some research before I write the blog. Okay, well, how long is it going to take me to do research? Am I going to spend a whole Monday and Tuesday writing research? Then that's going to be more than 2 days of work because I'm going to be researching all that, and then I have to write that down in a blog. Or I have to cut everything down and to make it more palatable to the brain. Now, I have done that in the past, but how I do things differently today is more effective than how I did things from the start. Because when you start a new task, a new thing, you have to get used to doing that task. Writing blogs for me used to be a Monday through Friday type of endeavor where I would start on Monday and the blog would be complete by Friday. Now, I gave myself the due date until Friday. Now, was that a mistake? No, it wasn't, because I still hold true to that same weekly policy for my blog writing. Monday, I can start writing the blogs, or Sunday sometimes if I'm available. Friday, it's due. Regardless of the circumstances, Friday, the blog is due. That's how I stay true, and I can keep blogs coming out every single Monday. It's because I say, this is my schedule. Now, do I wait until Friday to have that blog complete? I used to, but not anymore. Now my blogs might be complete on Sunday, Monday, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday latest nowadays. And if something crazy happened in my life or I'm just busy with work, which happens frequently, sometimes it reaches Friday, but that's a rare case because I give myself work hours where I'm working with clients, and then sometimes after hours I will still associate with clients. If someone needs me, I'll reach out to them. But what I'm looking for in those after hours is what work that I didn't do during the day that needs to be done ASAP. Well, I have to do all the video editing. I have to make sure any articles that need to be written are written, that if the website needs to be updated, the website is updated. So there's a lot that I have to think about. Now, of course, I delegate some of the work, so I don't have to think about some of the remedial things like, oh, I need to post this picture. Oh, I need to contact this person, right? So some of this stuff is going to be automated. Now, when we get into the sense of why we do things, we have to see our motive. Because, yeah, I could have procrastinated until Friday continually, but what do I gain when I wait till Friday? Well, I don't gain much because I still get the blog completed. But what do I lose? I lose multiple days of productivity. So I would rather be more productive early in the week and then not have to worry or be stressed out about that Friday. And then that goes into the realm of fear, right? I said earlier, procrastination is the fear of putting off something until the fear of doing it becomes greater than the fear of doing it. So if I'm supposed to cut the lawn and I'm like, I don't want to cut the lawn, cutting the lawn is so much work and I have to do this, have to do that. And I wait till the grass is 6 feet tall. So now the grass is 6 feet tall and I have the city and I have the HOA coming at me saying, hey, your grass is way too tall. And now if you don't get this done by Sunday, and it's like Friday when I get that letter, if you don't get this done by Sunday, you're going to get a fine. And the fine is going to be like $175. Now, two things can happen. One, I can say $175, chump change. I don't care about that. Or I can say, well, I don't want to just give them $175. I can just do it myself and then I'll be all set. Now, I can also pay someone $50 to cut the lawn, and that's going to be less than $175. I'm still more proactive than I was just letting the grass grow to 6 feet tall. So yes, why do we put things off? Because now we're getting a negative consequence. I'm going to get fined. I'm going to get fired if I don't have this done. I'm going to fall behind per se. There's so many different things that can happen in the realm of, okay, are we doing the right thing? Are we procrastinating? Are we staying true to our schedule? And most of the time, people procrastinate. Many people just would rather sit on the sofa, be on their smartphones, and their smartphones can be a big deal. And I did talk about procrastination in an earlier podcast where I would talk about if I had my cell phone in my hand and I knew I was doing something meaningless, I would ask myself, what am I doing, right? What am I doing with my smartphone? Do I need this? And most of the time, it's probably a no. I don't need it. Unless I'm doing an email, checking a text message or something along those lines, making a phone call. I don't need to be swiping on TikTok or Instagram or wherever you swipe nowadays. That's taking away from what I can do. So I'm trying to figure out, how can I be effective in my day? What tasks are not helping me be effective? And then there's going to be times when you're going to be lazy and you said, I should be doing this, but you don't do it. So what do you do instead? You might sit on the sofa, you might watch a movie, and you might need it, right? You might need to recharge. And I'm not saying that you can't recharge, but what I am saying is, do you need to recharge? And sometimes people don't need to recharge, but they recharge anyway. So they find an excuse. Oh, I need to recharge. I need to watch TV because I had such a stressful day. But they procrastinate doing work that can be done. Because imagine if you got all your work done early and you can just have the rest of the week off. So people want a 4-day work week. Yeah, but then you have to work harder. So we have that capability of we can work our tails off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even Thursday, and then we can have a 3-day weekend. Yeah, that sounds great and all, but how do we get to that type of living, right? Where we get a 3-day weekend? Well, we have to make sure what we give ourselves, be it a goal, be it a task, or what's on our schedule, it has to be done as soon as possible. So when I schedule my life, all my high energy tasks are typically in the morning. When it comes to recording a podcast, that's a low energy task for me. I find it enjoyable. I get to talk to you, get to figure out what's going on. Why do we procrastinate? Well, how else can I help you with your mindset, with your life? I enjoy this. I'm passionate about this. And what I encourage people to do is to find something that they're passionate about. But just because you find something you're passionate about doesn't mean you won't procrastinate on it. Because again, if you have something that's on your brain, that's in your mind, that you're thinking about, that's overweighing what you enjoy. So I enjoy doing podcasts. But if I'm over here worried about credit card debt, worried about stress, worried about my relationship, how can I focus on the podcast? How can I focus on help people when I am trying to help myself, but I'm not doing what I need to do? So it's the concept of doing what you have to do initially, handling your business, and then setting yourself up for success every single day. Sometimes people get into the habit of putting off, and then it becomes a bigger deal later on. We don't want a bigger deal later on. We want, all right, if we want easy, what's going to be easy? We might have to work on Monday and Tuesday. We might have to work our butts off. We might have 10, 20 meetings that day. But guess what? We get through those 10, 20 meetings, and then guess what happens? Tuesday might be a day where we get to relax a little bit, lift up our feet, because we did all the work on Monday. But the goal is to be ahead but never get behind. Because if we don't fall behind, it's going to be difficult to procrastinate, because we're just operating, okay, I need to stay ahead. So procrastination can't be there for a long term. So that's another trick where we say, let's operate on being ahead rather than just being on point. So I'm doing everything that needs to be done today. I'm doing everything that needs to be done on this due date. Yeah, you can do that, but at the same time, you're always going to be in a constant state of stress because there's always something due. And as long as there's something due, now we're going to be saying, well, something is due and I have to do this. And there's not much relaxation there. So when there's no time to relax, guess what our brain wants to naturally do? Find time to relax. And that time is typically not appropriate. So not inappropriate in the sense of time is getting naked on us, but not appropriate in the sense of we should be doing something better with our time rather than being on the sofa, talking on the phone to, XYZ about makeup, right? And this is, when we should be writing our thesis. There's other things that we could be focused on. Maybe we should be at the gym, but we're literally in the man cave and we're saying, well, the game's on, right? Because we could put the game on our phone. We could go to the gym. The gym has sports there. Typically, your sports game will be on at the gym. And then, of course, they have treadmills that have the TVs. So you can watch your sports game, whether it be on your phone or the TVs at the gym. So there is no excuse that we have to procrastinate or to put off a task. It's just that we do it. And typically, it's because of a habit. We get into this habit where we say, I'm going to procrastinate because I procrastinated before and nothing bad happened, or I was still able to get the work done. Now, there will be a time when you procrastinate long enough and then all of a sudden, guess what? You don't have any time. Time ran out on you and now you're scrounging for how can I get this task done? I don't have enough time. But the answer is you did have enough time, but you squandered it in the beginning. And then when we get into the idea of life, we squander the beginning times of our life. Typically, we will squander the early ages of our life. So that means if we're not being proactive when we're teenagers, early adults, we wait until 30, 40, 50 years old to reach success. We are procrastinating our success. And it's a habitual and a building block type of problem where we say, all right, I want more in my life, so I need to figure out how to not procrastinate. And one of the best things that a person can do who is a habitual procrastinator is that they can go get a coach. Now, the coach is going to be there to hold you accountable, and they're going to understand that, all right, you like procrastinating. I'm not going to allow that, right? And then you put rules and stipulations that have to be in effect, because if not, you're just going to say, wait, I don't have to do what they say, right? Because typically you don't. If I ask you to do something, you're your own person. You don't have to do what I recommend. Now, what I recommend is going to help you get to a better place in your life. But if you don't want to get into a better place because you would rather be lazy or procrastinate and wait for another day, I can't force you. This is similar to that old saying. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? I can't make someone change. So if you're a fan of procrastination and you don't want to change, then I can't change that. But if you want to have less stress in your life, the best way to do that is to get rid of procrastination. Because when you're more proactive in doing the things that you're supposed to do, you're not going to be so far behind. You're always going to be ahead into a certain regard. And yes, you're going to still have a certain amount of stress. I want you to understand that stress is going to be there, and that's how we know we're alive. Stress can be a good thing. But us using fear as a way to motivate us, that's like a double-edged sword there. Because yes, we can wait until the last minute and then fear is motivating us to do things. So we need fear in order to be motivated. But what about if something is plush and not going to be fearful, like going to the gym? Well, I guess I'm going to need a bully at the gym so I can be afraid, so I can wait to the last minute where the doctor says I'm going to have a heart attack, and then I have more fear. So there's compounding fear that can't happen. But we have to make sure that fear is not the reason why we do things. Now, on the other side of fear is going to be our most ambitious goals, the best life, right? There's multiple things on the other side of fear. Success, you name it. But we can't allow that fear to be a motivator for us as a constant, because then we will fear that fear. And I'm going to break that down in a second. We are not going to be looking at that fear as a good thing. So whenever I procrastinate and this fear feeling comes into my body and my mind, it's not a good feeling. And yes, it's not a good feeling, but I'm not going to do anything about it because I'm afraid of this feeling. So I'm going to avoid it as much as possible. And if I can avoid it as much as possible, guess what happens? I'm not going to do the task until it is necessary. How can we make tasks more necessary? That's going to be a better explanation than how do I stop procrastinating? Because procrastinating is fear. How do I make tasks more necessary is mindset. We need to change the way we think. Because yes, we can say procrastination, you build a schedule and you have to do this and you have to do that, and then you don't procrastinate anymore. When what would be more powerful is we say, well, this is what I want in my life. This is what is necessary. This is what I have to achieve. This is my goal. This is the standard expectations, because we rise to expectations. Children are given expectations in the classroom. They rise to those expectations. We are conditioned to rise to expectations. What happens is that when we're adults and we finally have the reign to run our own lives, our expectations go from here and they just start going down, down, down. And then eventually they find a nice comfortable spot, our comfort zone, and they say, well, we're just going to stay here because it's not too much effort, there's no fear, and you find a good balance. So we have to get our mindset past that, and then once that happens, then we can get rid of procrastination. But getting rid of procrastination might help with a schedule. It might help getting an assistant. It might help getting a coach. What we have to do is change your mindset. That's what I do as a mindset coach. I help people change their mindset. How do we stop procrastinating? How do we fill our mind with more necessary tasks? We do all of that in a coaching call. So if you're trying to get rid of procrastination, reading the blog is going to be a great starting point for you to get rid of that procrastination, or to learn how to get rid of that procrastination, right? Eliminating procrastination is going to be something that you can do by yourself, but it's going to require you to take action. And if you're not used to taking massive action, then you're going to probably want to find someone who's going to help you along the way take that massive action. So in closing, can you eliminate procrastination? Yes, you can. You can take procrastination out of your life almost completely. Now, again, there's going to be times where my smartphone might captivate me, whether it be because a video came out or trailer that is enticing to me. And I might say, oh, I want to watch this trailer. So I'm watching the trailer. And then I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing rather than just scrolling after I watch that trailer? So my goal was the trailer. I watched the trailer, but then I saw something else that caught my eye. Those apps, you have to understand, social media is there to keep you engaged. How long can you stay on my website? How long can you stay watching videos? Because every time you watch a video, they get paid. Advertising. We have a lot of distractions in our life, in the world, and we have to learn how to become more than those distractions. We have to learn more to figure out how we can be more pronounced in each of our days, be more than we were yesterday. And again, it goes back to mindset. And the best way you can do that is going to reverendconcepts.com, head over to membership tab, or if you are a first timer, going to the consultation. You can get a free consultation. How can I get rid of my procrastination? How can I find the necessary things in my life? We can do that typically in a short call. I also find that when we start to look at the necessities and why we procrastinate, that there's underlying problems that have to be addressed too. And that's typically going to be a couple months of coaching to deal with all those issues. Because we have to understand, we don't come out unscathed from childhood. We learn procrastination at some point. Because guess what happens in school? We are given tasks that we don't necessarily find passion in. So we have to write a paper on George Washington. I don't care about George Washington, but I have to write a paper on him to get a grade, because if I don't get a good grade, then my parents are going to get on my butt. And if my parents get on my butt, they're going to take my video games away, or I'm going to be grounded and I can't go out with my friends. There's so much that can happen from me not doing a task that I don't like. So we learn that at a young age, and when we turn into adults, we continue with that habit. So getting rid of that habit is going to be looking at your past and dealing with all of the traumas, all of that entangled type of thoughts that we accumulated as we grew up, and then forming it into a better pathway for us to take more and better and positive action. My name is Michael Reardon. I'm a mindset coach here in Austin, Texas. If you have any questions, you can email me, coachinginsession@gmail.com. I will see everyone on the next episode of Coaching in Session. Until then, everyone, take care.